Public Protector, thank you for joining us at eNCA, but let's talk of some of what we heard here inside. You mentioned the untouchables. Why do you think, as you had suggested, that you've been dragged to this inquiry?
As I indicated that, good evening. We just finished the first day, and I said this is the best ever which has happened. At least I found time to explain myself. Indeed, touching the untouchables, I said, which goes back to the Constitutional Court judgment, the comments by Justice Mkhwebane Impeachment, that one, you'll go and investigate those who are powerful, the deep, raw state power. I mean, my issues, which we will deal with when I was investigating the CX and the remedial actions or the report's outcome on that matter. So that was also dealing with issues of big business, those who thought possibly I am impacting on their resources, the powerful in the executive, president, ministers who have vilified me. I think there's lots of comments. If you can go back to Google and check the comments of Abombalula, Mkhwebane and the rest, Bosoli Mapaila, the way they were commenting and purely doing my work. Whereas we are sitting here because of those 4 or 5 reports which do not even touch on issues of the poor, the marginalized, and especially 90% of our work is focused on bread and butter issues. So I'm so excited that today has come and I was able to speak directly to the public. I will still continue doing that. Tomorrow we're still proceeding with the testimony.
And you've been largely criticized, some suggesting that you're delaying this process, especially around the court action that we've seen. And most recently on Monday, you were in court wanting the chair of this very inquiry to recuse himself. I want you to respond to why you'd want that and what you're hoping the outcome would be of that.
You know, since the beginning, I think I started with the process since 2017. When the DA, they started by calling me a spy. They then went ahead and said I'm incompetent, and when I issued that CX report, the Friede report, taking me to court, and I'm the one who said to the speaker, you don't have the rules. You need to develop the rules. They developed the rules at my insistence. Those rules were then unconstitutional. We had to show them that the rules, you're saying we can't have a legal representation, the rules you're saying you're dealing with the retrospective issues, you're dealing with having a judge who will be heading that panel. They were stubborn, they never listened. We took the matter to court, and the Western Cape High Court found in our favor the issue of the judge and the issue of legal representation. The rules then were taken, they appealed. I mean, Parliament of the People, they appealed against that. They said, why do I need a legal representation because I'm legally qualified? But the issue is, they were saying those rules are for Chapter 9 institutions. Some of them are not legally qualified. The Constitutional Court found in my favor. So, you see, I'm still trying to educate them, to show them that you need to be, when doing this, do not play the ball, the man, play the ball, because whatever you are doing, history has no blank pages. Whatever the rules they've developed, they might be used against me, being the first one, but then let them make sure that in future, those rules will stand the test of time. So, going to court is to make sure that the courts are there to deal with issues of constitutionality, the lawfulness. This process, I indicated, we are participating under protest, remember, to make sure that we comply to the Constitution. I mean, Mailham is married to Mazon. Is it fair? How must I feel to be facing an impeachment, which is a matter of life and death? I mean, it has an impact on my future as a person. Now you have a husband sitting in this process, which must determine my fate. You have chairperson who was sitting in a portfolio committee and commented about my incompetence. And the rules of parliament are very clear. Rule 88, which says you cannot comment about the decisions and the actions or the competence of the judges, the heads of Chapter 9 institutions. So hence we were saving them money. Yes, we were in court. What if the court comes back and say, but that is wrong, because there's lots of SCA judgments, constitutional. That you cannot have a situation like this. And the issue is how they can't come and say, no, we are objective. But how does it make me feel? Because here we are dealing with my rights. And I think you've heard me saying, sometimes I feel as if they are treating me as if I don't have feelings, I don't have rights.
And do you feel that your judgments have been real accurate and fair? I just want to touch on one. You suggest that you were suspended because of the pronouncement of around the Phala Phala report. We saw a leaking of that report by the acting public protector just last week. I want your sentiments just around what we see.
Indeed, I was suspended for that. It was the three full bench of the Western Cape High Court indicated that that was retaliatory. President had ulterior motives. Remember, he couldn't even wait for the judgment the following day of the Part A, where we were interdicting him. So that was very clear that it was retaliatory. I was suspended for that till this day. And I indicated that the issue of Phala Phala, there were those 31 questions. Remember, I sent them, and on the 7th of June, and on the 8th of June, I indicated that we are investigating, and then I was suspended on the 9th of June. And the judgment was on the 10th, as if he knew what the judgment was going to be, especially the one which was saying no, and the president was within his right to suspend me. But then coming back to the Phala Phala issue, I think we've shown you several reports which are falling under the Executive Members Ethics Act to show that how many months we took to investigate them. The most 8 months, some 6 months to investigate. And again here, the test is very simple. What is Section 96 of the Constitution is saying? The conduct of the President and any other executive in terms of the Executive Members Ethics Act. So I think what has leaked, which is out there, and the way it's captured, I think maybe let's wait for the comments, because remember, those who are served with those documents, they would come back and say, but here's further evidence, can you reconsider that? Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I actually want to quickly, Sally, look for the chair of the inquiry, just to maybe get reaction from him as well. Chair, I just want your quick reaction. This is Richard Janji, that's the chairperson of this Section 194 inquiry. I want to quickly have a chat with him, especially maybe around what we're seeing in court. You were taken to court on Monday, asked to recuse yourself alongside the Member of Parliament of the Democratic Alliance. We know that judgment has been reserved there, but the suggestion is that this whole process is unfair to the public protector, and she wasn't even given the option of getting legal representation. I just want to get your sentiment around this.
No, thank you very much. The public protector has the right, whenever she feels not comfortable or not happy with any issue, to go to the correct address and platform, and being in court is a correct place. We have covered that ground. I would have given reasons for why I'm not recusing myself as a chairperson. So did Honorable Member Milam in terms of that. So we've passed that stage. We await the court outcome.
She seems to suggest that from the onset, this inquiry itself was targeted at removing her, given the suggestions and the terminology around removing the public protector, instead of looking at her ability to, if she's fit for the role itself. Has there been any unbiasedness towards her?
No, not at all. This is an exercise in accountability. It's an exercise to test her fitness to hold office. And today she has started explaining why she's fit to hold office. Removal is in the Constitution. It's Section 194, and the heading there is removal from office. But we've always maintained that that's the last point you'll get to. There's a process that you will need to undergo, which is this exercise that we're dealing with. It could come either way, that we find that she's fit to hold office and therefore there's no need for removal, or she's not fit to hold office, in which case she will be removed. I think it's as simple as that.
Okay, are you in a position to comment on some of what we've heard then today, especially around her suggesting that she wasn't allowed to have legal representation on the onset of the inquiry itself?
You would have noticed we listened attentively. I would have set the tone up front and asked members to be very patient, more than they would have been in the last 7 months. We still are going to have members asking questions. After this, we're going to have our own time for deliberations. It is at that point that you're going to hear us indicating whether the evidence that was placed in front of us is relevant to what we need and what we say. For now, we're listening, and we're going to maintain that.
Okay, and then just for the benefit of our viewers, what's going to happen just going forward?
Advocate Mkhwebane started today addressing South Africans, addressing this committee about the issues that she's always wanted to give testimony on. So today is the first day. We would have budgeted between 9 and 10 days to have her time. She's being led in evidence in chief by Advocate Mpofu, and she'll be doing that for a couple of days. Thereafter, we'll give a chance to evidence leaders. Members will ask questions, and depending how far we go, that's how we'll conclude within that period, possibly. And I'm hoping that it will be less than the 9 days.
Okay, thank you very much. Richard Janji is the chairperson of the Section 194 inquiry, of course, that looking at the competence of Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane to hold office. He says at this stage they're merely listening, and of course they will have time to respond to some of what we've heard here today. We're expecting then Busisiwe Mkhwebane to be back in the hot seat tomorrow at 10 o'clock, where she is to continue giving her side of events before then being questions by some of these members of parliament inside here.
Thank you so much. Aviwe Mtila, of course, day one of the public protector giving her side of the story. Her lawyer, Dalia Mpofu, leading her affidavit. Of course, still to come will be cross-questioning by that impeachment committee. Thanks so much for bringing us the very latest there. Aviwe Mtila.